This is Bumper to Bumper, the car show. Drive in anxious and cruise out confident. With the best automotive information for your vehicle. And now your hosts, Matt Allen and Dave Riccio.
Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to Bumper Radio. I am Dave Riccio here along with Matt Allen, and together we are your KTAR car guys, heard every Saturday from 11 to noon. At Bumper to Bumper Radio, we're helping you, the motoring public, have a better overall car experience. So if you've got car questions, we've got car answers, and we encourage you to give us a call at 602-277-5827, 602-277-KTAR. And for those shy types, you can always text us at 411-923. Today on the Bumper to Bumper roadmap, let's see, fact or fiction? Yeah, fact or fiction. Open phones and texts, of course, and good vibrations. Are there any good vibrations in your car?
I don't know. Uh-oh, there it is. There it is. I don't know that there's very many good vibrations that you're going to get out of a car. Maybe the best one is the one that you're going to find before it turns into a really bad vibration.
Well, the reason this comes up, I was riding in Matt's truck the other day, and this thing shakes. I'm like, dude, you work in an auto shop, man. This truck is embarrassing.
Yeah, I would never be giving a customer a ride in my truck. But before we go there, we need to do a little bit of housekeeping and do some more introductions. And everybody know, I mean, Bumper to Bumper Radio is a show, but Bumper to Bumper Radio is also a community, as we know, of shop owners and shops that do business around the valley, whether it's Mesa or North Phoenix or Tempe, whatever. We're all over the place. And we've been talking about our Summer of Love promotion. We're helping PCH raise the money. Next Thursday, I think, is the KTAR Radiothon. And all the shops at Bumper to Bumper Radio are participating. We're trying to raise some money. And to showcase some of those shops, we've brought one of our original members of the Bumper to Bumper Radio Group. We got Lee Weatherbee from Accurate Automotive. Lee, thanks for joining us.
Thanks, guys. Good morning.
It's good to have you here. I know you're a little jet lagged. I understand you just flew in from Japan.
Just got back
on Saturday. But tell us a little bit about Accurate Automotive. Where can we find you, and what's the deal? Give us a little history.
Hey, thanks, Matt. We're at 441 South Robeson, Suite 101 in Mesa. Been there for the last 27 years. Love our customers, love our people, love the community there. It's really, really enjoyable to get out and work. The Summer of Love is one of those things that for us it's just a unique passion.
27 years. That's cool for a shop. You know, there's like chains and things out there. Some of those go through owners all the time. Yeah. But here's a shop that's had the same owner for 27 years.
And there's a lot of that in our network too. I mean, and that's the thing. You're not buying some giant corporation and feeding the big machine, the man, you know. This is a guy who's in the neighborhood. And I always get screwed up when I'm in Mesa. That's like whole another country to me, because I really don't go east of the 101 very often, to be quite honest with you. So Robson, but where is that? That's like downtown Mesa?
Downtown Mesa, yeah. Old Town Mesa. Country Club and Broadway would be the closest main streets. But we're kind of in Old Town Mesa, like you say, just south of the railroad tracks there by the old Sunkissed Orange Factory.
Okay.
And it is, like I say, Mesa is very expansive, very big. We kind of, occupy a little bit of the east valley of there.
Right.
And it's, like I say, it's absolutely wonderful. People have been great.
And how's the Summer of Love going over there at Accurate?
I'll tell you, the people of Mesa really have a lot of love. They really, really have connected this year and done well. I'm really proud of our guys. Of course, everything is about relationships that we do, and I love the reason why we've been 27 years, Dave, is because we love what we do still. And the people that we get to serve are phenomenal. But when we talk to them about this campaign that we're doing with PCH, they are just so giving, so willing to give a few dollars here, a few dollars there, and really everybody's got a story, and it's really unique. It's quite hard.
You hear that 6 degrees of separation from Brad Pitt or whatever it is, or not Brad Pitt. What's the other?
Don't put me on the spot with facts, because I don't have any.
You don't have any facts, but I think there's like 2 degrees of separation when it comes to Phoenix Children's Hospital.
Oh yeah,
you bet.
You don't have to ask very many people who have kids before you find a family that is used their services to some degree, very minor or major. Snake bite, scorpion, car accident, bicycle accident. I've had a couple of mine in there too. So so it's a great cause. It's really great. So Lee, thanks for joining us. We're
thanks for having me.
Some phone calls later. Maybe we can answer some questions. Which, by the way, it's 602-277-5827. 5827 602-277 KTAR. Now, we talked about vibrations, and Dave's giving me a hard time. I got my tire pressure light on for the last 3 weeks of my truck.
Oh yeah.
You come to the to a break to the, coming to the stoplight or getting off the freeway, the thing's shaking like a Chrysler with bad gas from the 60s. The thing's horrible, and I knew what most of these problems were, but it's so common when people have a vibration or something going on. What happens? Usually come in, they start to tell us what they need. Matt, I'm here today. I need an alignment. Well, why? Well, when the car's going 60 miles an hour, it's shaking. No, that's not an alignment. That's probably a tire balance issue. So we've got to separate out. Dave, you want to talk about some of the...
Well, what you're saying, Lee, you've probably seen it. It's super common. People got a vibration, first thing they want is an alignment, and they're completely different things. An alignment is getting all your tires going down the road the same direction, and exactly where you don't have one towing in. It's like pigeon-toed. You can have tires towed in or towed out or leaning one way or the other. That's a wheel alignment, and that's going to affect tire wear and even the way the vehicle steers on the road. Vibrations, think about your ceiling fan at home. Just take off one of the blades and turn it on high and just see what happens.
You won't have a ceiling fan for very long.
No, and that's going on with your tires. So if a tire is out of balance by 1 ounce on one side of the tire, it's 60 miles an hour. That's like 1 pound. Yeah. And Lee, you could probably tell us more about that. But
vibrations can be they resonate. So what happens is when you get a vibration that kind of is focused in one area, you may not necessarily feel it in that area, but it resonates throughout the entire product, through the whole vehicle.
It's kind of like a roof leak. The leak is never where the water shows up on the drywall.
Right.
It's like 7 feet over somewhere.
Right. Right.
That happens all the time. And vibrations, I'm the vibration guy at our shop. So we always go for a ride. When a customer comes in and they say they're having a vibration or a noise issue, first thing we do is jump in the car so they can show it to us.
Absolutely.
Because we'll drive a car. I'll get in someone's car and I'll hit the brakes and I go, man, your rotors are warped. Oh, yeah, I was talking to my other mechanic about that. He said that's normal. And I'm like, certified mechanic told you that was normal?
Yeah, but Dave,
maybe,
you got to keep
maybe the piece of junk he's driving is normal, but you don't want yours to be like that.
So there's different types of vibrations. So one of the most common ones that we see is brake pulsations. When you're coming up to a stop, you get that vibration. Mm-hmm. Well, that's going to be tied to the brakes and the rotor. Some people talk about warped rotors or pad transfer is an issue there. So that's one of the many vibrations that we see. Mm-hmm. But if you have a vibration problem and you take it to a shop, ask them to go for a ride with you so that you can show them so they fix the right vibration, because some vibrations might bother them that don't bother you.
Well, and vibrations can create noise as well, and sometimes what you're suggesting is really good communication. You know what I mean? And when you actually go for a ride with a customer, get the detailed information that's required in order to really serve them in the best fashion. That's what really sets you on the path to be able to be successful in order to get there.
And that's a really good point, because I think people are frustrated with auto repair. Like, I took my car to them and they can't seem to find out what's wrong with it. Well, yeah, there's two parts to this. Yeah. Are you giving them good information? And sometimes good information, picture's worth 1,000 words, and so is a road test.
You bet. You bet. No question about it.
Right. So, so we got road tests. We want to find the vibration. A lot of times we talk about tire balance. So in my case, I got 4 new tires. And a lot of people will say, I'm going to get my tires at discount or whatever. And great, go to discount, go to your tire shop if you got a tire shop, or if you're an S&S tire person, use them. And they say, well, I'll just have discount do the alignment. No, Discount Tire only sells tires. They tire and they balance. That's what they're talking about.
Right.
So it is always a good idea to have an alignment done after you have your tires replaced. I had an alignment on my truck. I got my 4 new tires on there. And a lot of times, if you didn't have a problem before, you probably don't have one now, but I think a lot of times an alignment is like insurance.
It is.
You just put $900 worth of new tires on my truck. I want to make sure that they're protected. I wasn't that far out of whack, but we got to get that thing straight. The other thing is why it's nice to, maybe if you're not using a tire shop, but you're using your regular mechanic, maybe it's a good idea. People say, well, I want to go get my new tires first. I say, no. Bring it in to me first. I want to look at your tires. Those tires tell a story. They got wear patterns. They're bald on the outside. They look like maybe someone took an ice cream scooper and started scooping the treads away. That's maybe a sign of a rear alignment issue.
Bet.
I mean, you can look at a tire. Take a lot of rear-wheel drive tires, and I point this out to customers all the time. You can have the car up in the lift, and like every other tread doesn't have any is clean, and then one has dust on it. Well, it's because that tread's not touching the ground, and the thing's starting to get worn out. So before we put the tires on, or even after, if it comes to that, we'd like to see the tires, but we want to shake down the front end. We want to check the ball joints, the tie rod ends, because if you don't have all that stuff straight, number one, you can't get a good alignment, and number two, you might start ruining your new tires, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. And you're talking about a signature. Those tires are leaving a signature for us to be able to identify where there's another component that has some failure. It's just like vibrations. Vibrations leave a signature.
Mm-hmm. Well, when we come back, we're taking your calls at 602-277-5827, 602-277-KTAR. You're listening to Matt and Dave, your KTAR car guys, on Bumper to Bumper Radio.
Well, the annual Phoenix Children's Hospital Give-a-thon is next Wednesday and Thursday, and that's your opportunity to contribute to all the wonderful things PCH does year-round. But later today, I want to introduce you to some of the world-class businesses who will be writing checks for the same cause. They're a very special McMahon Group on KTAR News 92.3 FM.
Matt and I share car repair tips weekly to help you keep your car safely on the road, and a few of them are easy to do.
Yep, you're right, Dave. And one of the easiest is to have a dependable battery that you can trust to get you started no matter what the conditions.
Interstate batteries are what we trust at Bumper to Bumper Radio. In fact, they're what we use at our own shops for our customers.
If you're like most people, your car is one of your most valuable investments. Make sure you take care of that investment with the power necessary to get you where you need to be. Interstate batteries are America's #1 replacement brand with the factory fresh guarantee, and they're easy to find at good shops everywhere.
Cars or trucks, Interstate has you covered with long life and performance in our harsh desert climates with products like Megatron Plus. It carries a 30-month free replacement and a 6-year performance guarantee.
Interstate batteries. No battery lasts longer. Check them out at interstatebatteries.com.
There's nothing more important than family. Hi, Kurt Rock for Kurt's Auto Repair. Family owned and operated and Bumper to Bumper Radio preferred. We've been taking care of Valley families and their auto care needs with a perfect Better Business record for over 27 years. Come experience the difference our ASE MasterTechs can make for you and your family at Kurt's Auto Repair. Just east of I-17 at 22nd Avenue and Bell Road, or online at mycarhurts.com. Gas or diesel, foreign or domestic. If your car hurts, take it to Kurt's.
Hi, I'm Kurt Morgan, owner of Shadow Mountain Auto Service in Phoenix. I'm also a college automotive instructor, and I've been a technician for over 30 years. In that time, I've seen all kinds of games and gimmicks in the auto repair business, the worst of which seems to be associated with transmissions. I think it's because, to most, including technicians, the inside of a transmission is a mystery. So when one of our valued customers has a transmission problem, we send them straight to Tri-City Transmission. No games, no gimmicks. That's Tri-City Transmission.
Get your motor running. Head out on the highway.
Well, welcome back to Bumper Radio. I'm Dave Riccio here along with Matt Allen, and today in the studio we've got Lee Weatherbee from Accurate Automotive. Just one of the shops you can find at bumpertobumperradio.com. And Lee has been active in our Summer of Love PCH.
Yeah, speaking of which, you can stop by any Bumper to Bumper approved shop now until Labor Day and help us share the love. You make a donation to Phoenix Children's Hospital, and we'll match it. In Mesa, what do you know? You can see Lee Weatherbee, who happens to be here today, Accurate Automotive at Robson and Broadway. And on the west side, we've got Dave's Car Care, 51st Avenue in Peoria. And speaking of Dave's Car Care, he's another guy, 35 years on the same corner. So this is indicative of the kind of people you find at Bumper to Bumper Radio. So if you're looking for a shop, and it doesn't matter if you already have a good mechanic, that's great. Stay there. But we still want your $5 for Phoenix Children's Hospital. So you can go to bumpertobumperradio.com and you can donate. Or if you want to make that $5 or $10 or even $1, every dollar counts. If you want to stretch a little further, if you go to one of the Bumper to Bumper shops, you don't have to go get your car fixed. Just go drop off 5 because it turns into 10.
And it really does. And it's, if you think about it and break it down, it's, hey, do you want to give, a kid some crayons? Do you want to give him a coloring book? Do you want to give him a teddy bear? You know what I mean? You want to give him some things that will bring some comfort and joy and some peace to them, you know what I mean, in their time of trial. It really gets down to the very, very basic necessities. And like you say, Matt, it doubles. So it's a phenomenal program.
I'll tell you what, my wife is a physician. She works there. And even she doesn't know some of these things that the hospital has and provides for these kids. We've done the tour many times of the new tower, the new building, when we started doing this program 5 years ago. And I was shocked. I mean, they have a full – you got to remember, these kids are in this hospital for months sometimes. Their families are living there. They've got the Ronald McDonald House right there where people are staying and stuff. And they still have to get an education. They have to have school. They've got volunteer staff that comes in as teachers. They've got books. And they need iPads, and they need computers, and they need all this stuff so that these kids can – kick cancer's butt or get over whatever it is or recover from what they're doing, but they can't lose the rest of the things that are important to their life while they have that one battle. They still have to go to school and have friends and learn and be able to play and have fun. And this is what happens with this money that we all raise to help them. So it's a great thing.
Well, for sure. We got David, Paul, and Margie, and a couple open lines at 602-277-5827. 602-277-KTAR. We're going to go with David in Phoenix on a 55 Chevrolet. How can we help you, David? You're on Bumper to Bumper Radio.
Hey, good morning. How you guys doing?
Fantastic. Happy Saturday.
Good. Happy Saturday. I just moved in from California. I've been here a month and 2 days now.
Well, what do you think?
Hot.
It's all right. It's okay. I mean, when you compare gas in California to gas here, I mean, I filled up my tank for $15 the other day. How can you beat that,
Welcome to Arizona. Yeah, welcome.
Hey, I got a question. I got a 55 Chevy at home in California. I'm going to plan on bringing it down here. I need to know if you give me a good mechanic. I need a valve job on my car, and then also I need a body mechanic, a body man or a shop that you can maybe refer me to. Then also, if there's any car shows around here. I heard there's one off of Bell in 67, or is it 76th Avenue or something like that?
Yeah, I hope you've got a pencil out. We're going to overload you.
Go ahead. I'm right here.
With some info. What part of town are you in?
I'm off of 43rd Avenue, and I think it's called Glendale.
43rd and Glendale. Okay. Sounds good. So if you're ready, you're going to have to look up a couple things. As far as a shop, go to bumpertobumperradio.com. Closest guy in your neighborhood we were just talking about is Dave Denman at Dave's Car Care. The body shop that we refer also happens to be on the west side, 23rd Avenue in Peoria. That's I-17 Collision. Greg at ADS, Automotive Diagnostic Specialties, is kind of the hot rod guy in the group. So that might be a good resource for your hot rod stuff. Now, you want to start getting involved in the car shows. There is a plethora of car shows and things to do around.
I don't know what that means, plethora.
It's a lot.
Okay.
Every Saturday night, I think even through the summer, at the Scottsdale Pavilions, Indian Bend and the 101's, the shopping center over there is a car show every single weekend. Go out there. They've got little Rice Rocket tuners to old hot rods and motorcycles and cool bicycles and stuff. You've got that. You can search or Google Cruise on Central. There is that only happens 2 times a year. I was driving down Central the other day at work. There still looks like the launch pad at Firebird Raceway. I mean, the whole thing is burnouts. They kind of closed the roads, and the police are very generous with their kindness, and they're looking the other way on some burnouts and stuff. So that happens 2 times a year. But if you Google that, the lady that runs that program does car shows, I think, all the time. We're probably just coming off the summer break because it's just so brutally hot. So you'll be able to find those. And then on the west side, there's Westgate over there where the Coyotes still play for a little while. And there's always car shows. There's motorcycle stuff, I think, on Friday nights over there. So
absolutely,
there's a lot to do. So once you start getting in that crowd, you're going to be overloaded with things to do. It'd probably be a lot like Southern California. I mean, there's car stuff everywhere.
Well, thanks for the call, David. 602-277-5827. Let's snag Paul on an 01 Cadillac. DeVille, how can we help you, Paul? You're on Bumper to Bumper Radio.
Yeah, thanks for taking the call. I had a dash light come on that says cooling level low. And so anyway, I checked it out. It was a little low, so I filled it up. The light didn't go off. So anyway, I was looking at the radiator cap. Radiator cap looked bad. I mean, the gasket came off of it. So I went down to Napa, got another radiator cap, put that on, topped it off again, and I can't get that light just won't go off. I mean, I've shut the car off, I've reset the light, I've done all that stuff, and I don't know, is that indicative of something else?
Yeah, I bet this is a pretty simple fix, Paul, as Dave probably makes fun of me reaching for the microphone. Paul, what happens in a lot of those, Lee, you want to take it?
Yeah.
You know what the answer is, right?
Yeah.
I mean, 99% sure. Go for it, Lee.
Paul, there's a sensor in the overflow jug, and sometimes the wires on the backside can sometimes get contaminated. Sometimes the sensor itself just wears out, and so it may not actually be registering. So even though it's an open circuit, and what happens is the circuit just doesn't have the ability to close, so the light remains on.
Yeah.
And if you need to do a little bit of testing, kind of wiggle test, and find out what's going on, if that sensor is indeed even registering, with your dash. But you could take it to any one of the bumper-to-bumper shops, and they'd be more than happy to really get in and take a look at that. But like Matt says, I don't think it's going to be an enormous deal on that.
Yeah, and Paul, and if you're a do-it-yourselfer, what Lee's saying is there's a float in there, much like maybe in an old toilet. It floats, or like your gas gauge, for example. It's got a float, and when it gets low, it's going to open or close the circuit, and there's just a switch in there. And what we find sometimes is the material that's supposed to float becomes saturated, it gets heavy, it sinks to the bottom, and the sensor's just lying to you. Not a difficult fix at all. Sometimes you've got to replace the bottle, sometimes you can replace the sensor. Shouldn't be a big deal.
When we come back, I want to talk a little bit more about people opening the hood and adding coolant and pulling off radiator caps, because it could be dangerous at times. So when we come back, we're taking your calls at 602-277-5827. You're listening to Matt and Dave, your KTAR car guys, on Bumper to Bumper Radio.
It sounds like they've just had the Accurate Automotive experience. We're family-owned and operated and have served the Mesa, Tempe, Gilbert communities for over 22 years. We focus on building long-lasting relationships and, listening to you so that we can understand, meet, and exceed your expectations. One location, 14 bays, 88 years of automotive expertise, and a passionate commitment to customer service and excellence. My name is Lee Weatherbee, and I approve this message because it's true. We love what we do, and we want to do it for you. Accurate Automotive, the home of friends serving friends.
In life, there are certain relationships outside of family and friends that are important. For instance, if your car breaks down, you want to have a relationship with an auto repair shop that you trust to repair your car. The same goes for your doctor, your accountant, and your attorney. Why? Because the services they provide involve health and financial decisions, and it's important to hire a trusted professional. This same principle applies to real estate. Hi, I'm Lisa Henry with Russ Lyon Sotheby's International Realty. For most of us, our home is the largest financial commitment and asset we will own in our lifetime. So when you decide to sell, it's important to hire a professional, knowledgeable real estate agent that you can trust to represent your interests and provide the best customer service available. If you would like a consultation to help determine the value and discuss a comprehensive marketing plan to sell your home, please visit my website at lisareneehenry.com. That's Lisa Renee, R-E-N-E-E, Henry.com. Come experience the difference a great real estate agent can make.
Trust. It's hard to earn and sometimes even harder to find. If you live or work in downtown Phoenix, Matt Allen's Virginia Auto Service is celebrating over 20 years of award-winning service at the corner of 7th Street and Virginia. Recognized as one of the best service shops in the country, their customers have come to trust Virginia Auto Service for its A-plus rating by the BBB, 2-year 24,000-mile warranties, and free transportation to and from your home or office. 20-plus years of earning your trust. Virginia Auto Service. They're serious about service.
KTAR News, on air, 92.3 FM, online at KTAR.com, and on every device with the KTAR app. Arizona's breaking news and traffic, now.
KTAR News Time, 11:30. I'm Mike Sackley. Arizona votes. Bill Clinton is on the campaign trail, tackling voter worries about Hillary Clinton's trustworthiness.
Hillary Clinton's top surrogate is firing back at concerns over the Democratic nominee's email controversies.
That's it. It's not true.
Bill Clinton telling supporters in Las Vegas that this is the biggest load of bull he's ever heard, and reassuring voters that they can trust his wife when it comes to matters of national security.
That's ABC's Mary Bruce. Sad news out of Britain. Actor Kenny Baker has died. He's best known for playing R2-D2 in the original and prequel Star Wars trilogies. Baker was found dead at his home today. He was 81 years old. The pool that's being called the Swamp at the Rio Olympics is going to be drained. The water at the Maria Lenk Aquatic Center has been green-tinged and murky for 5 days. Officials blame algae, poor maintenance, heat, and more swimmers than expected using the facility. Now let's get a check on traffic in the RMEGold.com Traffic Center. Here's Mike Daniels.
Well, thanks, Mike. We do have an injury accident involving a motorcycle on Buckeye Road right there south at South Saraville. Definitely use caution in that area. A wreck on the I-17 frontage road southbound south of Maryland. This is including a bicycle, and we do have a crash in Glendale at Northern Avenue and 43rd, and a wreck at Bethany Home Road just west of 7th Avenue. That's traffic. I'm Mike Daniels, KTAR News.
Looking at sunny skies for the rest of your Saturday, up to a high today around 106 degrees. Clear tonight, the low 84, 106 and sunny for Sunday, 108 the high on Monday. Right now in Scottsdale, it's 98 degrees. Weather brought to you by Howard Air. Whether replace or repair, call Howard Air. Matt and Dave, KTAR's Car Guys on Bumper to Bumper, are back with you next. I'm Mike Sackley, KTAR News.
Arizona, an amazing state for outdoor recreation and exploration. Full of mountains, lakes, streams, forests, and of course, our beautiful deserts. Hunting, fishing, camping. If it's about the outdoors, we've got it covered. KTAR invites you to Get Outdoors with Mike Russell today at noon. KTAR News on 92.3 FM and on every device with the KTAR app.
Hi, this is Lori Grenier. You've seen me on Shark Tank. One obstacle many small businesses face is that getting the capital they need can be a difficult task. That's where Cabbage comes in. Cabbage provides simple, flexible access to a line of credit up to $100,000. They have helped 80,000 businesses with over $2 billion in funding. Go to Cabbage.com or call 888-CABBAGE. You'll get a decision in minutes and can start using your funds immediately. Access your line from a phone or computer and only pay for what you take. Make Cabbage your first resort for business funding.
Looking for that last perfect getaway for summer? Look no further than Bunker to Bunker, the golf show's next tour stop at the spectacular JW Marriott Desert Ridge Resort and Spa on Saturday, August 27th, benefiting Phoenix Children's Hospital. An incredible value. The two-person scramble on the famous Faldo course is loaded with special prizes, lunch, and a coupon for another round of golf, all for just $85. Make it a stay-and-play weekend with room specials starting as low as $89 per night. Space is limited. So register today at bunkergolf.com.
There's nothing more important than family. Hi, Kurt Rock for Kurt's Auto Repair. Family owned and operated and bumper-to-bumper radio preferred. We've been taking care of Valley families and their auto care needs with a perfect Better Business record for over 27 years. Come experience the difference our ASE MasterTechs can make for you and your family at Kurt's Auto Repair. Just east of I-17 at 22nd Avenue and Bell Road, or online at mycarhurts.com. Gas or diesel, foreign or domestic. If your car hurts, take it to Kurt's.
Well, welcome back to Bumper Radio. I'm Dave Riccio, here along with Matt Allen, and we've got Lee Weatherbee from Accurate Automotive in Mesa joining us. He's just one of the shops that you can find at bumpertobumperradio.com, and we are in the middle of our, I guess it would be the middle of our Summer of Love promotion. The Bumper to Bumper shops are raising money for Phoenix Children's Hospital, and we encourage you to come stop by one of our locations or one of the locations and donate, and then we match that dollar for the children at Phoenix Children's Hospital. In Mesa, you can go see Stan Davis at Mesa Auto Works and I-17 Collision if you're in the West Valley. They're just one of the shops. You can also donate at bumpertobumper.com.
That would be Bumper to Bumper Radio.
Sorry. Yeah. You'll probably find it if you just enter it into Google. You'll probably find it. So anyway, by the way, while you're there, be sure to like us on Facebook. We're looking for friends. Always could use more friends. We've got Ruth and Michael on an open line at 602-277-5827. Let's take Ruth in Chandler. She's got a 2014 Toyota Camry. How can we help you, Ruth? You're on Bumper to Bumper Radio.
Yes, question. When we drive, especially into our driveway, go over that curb area, our car creaks, and it isn't, sometimes it's going over a speed bump. You don't hear it as much, but turning in the driveway, turning out to go out, it creaks, and wonder why it might do that.
How many miles are on your Camry, Ruth?
About 20,000.
Wow. Oh, it's just worn out.
Yeah. Time for a new car.
Okay.
Is the ashtray full? No, we're joking. Well, Ruth, I mean, what you're hearing is, and I'm surprised on a 2014, that car's only a couple years old, but over time the rubber bushings wear. But gee, in a 20-some-odd-thousand-mile car, Lee.
Yeah.
I mean, it's.
Ruth, do you do a lot of driving in the car?
Yeah, she's not on the line anymore. Oh. But one thing I think of the other day, after all the rain, my truck made some funny noises. The brakes were squeaky for a couple days. We had a couple customers, Mom, my brakes are squeaking. Just drive. The water can get in there and just wash all the. I don't know what it does. It just something's not right.
Water gets everywhere.
Yeah, it gets there. It gets wet. But no, so they just sometimes they tend to make some funny noises. But on an older car, you would expect maybe you see the bushing starting to get hard, the rubber dries out a little bit. Maybe the strut bushings. You have tie rod or not tie rod ends, but sway bar links that can be bad. You can't really lubricate them either. There's not much. I mean, you don't want to get under a WD-40. Sometimes you could use some silicone spray because the WD-40 will ruin the rubber. But, Dave, I mean, there's not much else really. It's just turn the radio up.
I think we had the same call last week, and I think he hit on something with the rain. I mean, the rain changes things, and it'll may just work its way out.
But the heat dries it out as well.
Right,
yeah,
sure.
And then you hear them seasonally. They start to creak more when you get a really cold morning. It's just noisy. So it's something that might just work its way out a little bit. 20,000 miles, I sure wouldn't think there's anything wrong, though.
You can take it in, though. Use chassis air to isolate where the noise is and things of that nature. So
602-277-5827. Thanks so much for the call. I'm going to go to text here. 2007 GMC. The oil gauge is pegged and stays that way when the car is off. No leaks. There's no rattles. Do I have a bad sensor or a bad gauge? Lee, what do you think he's got?
All right, so bring that at me again, Dave.
Come on, Lee. Come on, you got to pay attention.
Oh, yeah, Lee's jet lagged.
Wow. He's got sushi on his mind and sleep. And,
no, he's tired of sushi. You don't want to think about sushi no more.
I had my eyes closed there for just a half second, and boy, whoa.
For those that weren't listening in the beginning, Lee Weatherbee is here from Accurate Automotive. He's one of the bumper-to-bumper shops in Mesa. But he had 2 Fridays yesterday because his first Friday was in Japan boarding the plane, so then he flew home. It's like Groundhog Day. After flying all the way across, and he gets here, and he lands in L.A., and son of a gun if it's not still Friday.
Yeah.
Right? So,
that's it.
Well, Lee, what happens is on this 2007 GMC, the oil gauge is pegged, full pressure, but even when the engine's off. No oil leaks, no rattles. Bad sensor, bad gauge. Where are you putting your money?
You know what? I'm probably going to look at the gauge first. I'm going to try to find out, you know what I mean, if the gauge is stuck, if we got something going on back inside there. You can obviously do some quick testing, with the sensors and stuff like that. But I want to know about that gauge, the integrity of the gauge, and to see if it's, if it is literally stuck open.
Yeah, and if it was in our shop, I mean, these things we can sweep with the scanner.
Right.
If they're functional. And there's just little stepper motors in those things, and those stepper motors go bad, and so that's what's going on. But I try sweeping it. I had a car, a customer was coming to pick it up late yesterday, and my guy goes and test drives it. He goes, transmission works great, Dave, but the speedometer stuck at 100 miles per hour. Sometimes on these things, when you disconnect the battery with a key on, it does weird things. Not a good idea.
Right.
But anyway, we had to, go in and just swing the gauge and get it back to working again.
Well, speaking of changing a battery, I mean, how many weird things happen by just changing a battery? How often do you get the General Motors vehicle where you change the battery and now the air conditioner doesn't deflect out the right area? Or what do we have now in the cars, the automatic up windows or auto down?
Oh, yeah.
Change a battery, the car gets towed in, then you get, this wasn't doing this before. Well, when you change a battery, you can lose a lot of memory, a lot of the home functions on motors, and not just the radio. It used to be all you were worried about is your 5 radio presets. Now there's 17 presets, and in your XM radio and the air conditioning and the windows and whatever else goes out with when you change the battery sometimes.
Well, plus some of the engine management stuff, you've got to do the relearn procedures and things like that just because you changed the batteries.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You used to think that programming your VCR was complicated.
Well, Dave, I mean, you see in transmissions a lot of times after you service them or you rebuild them, you've got to go wipe out the computer. I mean, the computer's, it's basically adaptive memory. It's learning how you drive the car. Yep. The computer, we don't do tune-ups anymore. The computer is constantly tweaking everything, so it's making up for the wear in the engine already. So you go wipe all that memory out. The computer forgot who it's controlling now. It's got to relearn that stuff. It takes some time.
For sure. 602-277-5827. We got Michael in Tempe on a 2005 Toyota Tacoma. I like those trucks. How can we help you, Michael? You're on Bumper to Bumper Radio.
Hi, guys. First-time caller. What I'm experiencing when I'm on a highway, especially, is a vibration, particularly when I'm slowing down drastically. I mean, it shimmies very drastically, and I was wondering what that might particularly be, and also, should I take it to a conventional mechanic, or would that be something that a brake specialist would look at?
No, I think just you can take and trust any one of the shops you're going to find on bumpertobumperradio.com if you don't have a shop. Quite honestly, the brake specialists, the guys that hang that hat, I wouldn't go anywhere near them. I mean, that's just, I wouldn't. Everybody in the studio is looking at me like, Matt, are you supposed to say that? Well, I did because yes, they're typically have a history. But anyway, that problem sounds a lot like what I just had on my Tundra yesterday and what I've been tolerating for the last couple months.
What I couldn't tolerate when I was riding with him, I'm like, Matt, shoemakers' kids go without shoes. What's wrong with you?
They
Get
do.
your car
You should
fixed.
see it. We have broken down cars and diseased children at home.
Your wife's a doctor.
Wow. The wife's a pediatrician, the kids are sick, and the cars are junk. No. But what happens if you're classic symptom, you're going down the road, you're cruising down the highway, and you're going to get off the exit, you start to coast, everything's cool, you step on the brake, and your watch and your cheeks and everything are shaking, you feel it. You feel it in the...
Some more than others.
Yeah, you feel it in the brake pedal. And what's happened is, picture you're a record player, if you're old enough to know what a record player is. My kids don't. But, you've got that warped record, and you've got a needle on there, and that thing's bouncing as it's spinning. Well, do that at 60 miles an hour and then clamp it down on both sides, and it's just going to shake your teeth out. That can be from a warped rotor, or also we get what they call material transfer or pad transfer. You take really hot brakes, and you come to a panic stop, and those brake pads have got all that heat in them, the rotors have got all the heat in them, and you stop, and they sit there, and they bind to each other. And you can leave just microscopic. I mean, we're talking 0.5 millimeter, a little bit of buildup of the brake pad stays on the rotors. So now you start moving again. Every time that passes by the brake pad, it shakes and causes that vibration. So you probably just need a normal brake job, machine the rotors. The shop is going to measure them and make sure that there's enough material there before they machine them and make them true again. And it should be no big deal. But maybe
predominantly we see warped rotors in the front more than the back, but they can be warped front and back. I mean, it doesn't, usually you're starting with the front because that's going to be the most warped. And kind of when I feel it more in my seat, I'm thinking of the back brakes, and more in the steering wheel, I'm thinking a little bit more of the front brakes. Mm-hmm. So those are some of the things that an experienced guy is going to be looking at. So thanks so much for the call, Michael. 602-277-5827. We've got Kirk. He's got a 2004 Nissan Titan. How can we help you, Kirk? You're on Bumper to Bumper Radio.
Yeah, hi. How are you guys?
Good.
So, in my 2004 Nissan Titan, I turned the air conditioning on, and it sounds like I'm losing a lot of air through the dash, and not, it's not coming out of the vents like it should be.
Kirk, you might, this is Lee, you might have a HEPA filter internally in that could be obstructed or blocked, and that's kind of one of the things that could occur. The other thing is your evaporator may be plugged, and it's one of those things when you turn it feels like you have a full complement to be able to turn the blower on, but it's just not reaching you in the cavity. Is that correct?
Yeah, I mean what's happening Lee, I put him on hold already.
Oh,
so,
no worries.
Lee. So I think what Lee's talking about is that air it sucks air from the inside, or it's going to recirculate it from the inside of the car. It's going to pass it through a filter before then it goes to what Lee's talking about is the evaporator, the heat exchanger, what makes the air cool in the car. And what happens is those cabin air filters get plugged up with the fibers from the carpet, the grass, if you put your dog in the car with you, leaves, the stuff from the environment, from the outside. You park underneath a Palo Verde tree or something. We've seen that stuff packed in there. Now, some cars don't have a cabin air filter, and then you see the evaporator, which is just a little mini radiator.
It acts as the filter.
And that starts to become the filter, and that thing is just plugged. So it might be a simple deal. Sometimes you have to take the whole dash apart to get the evaporator out to clean it. And if you're going to go that far, you might want to replace it. sometimes you can get lucky, maybe pull the blower motor out. If, in fact, the evaporator is plugged up, you can pull the blower motor out and vacuum that out.
Yep.
And,
Well, the other
and
thing I was
filter it.
hearing, too, a little bit is he was getting air that was coming out more out of his defroster, so maybe there was some sort of mode door issue.
Okay.
So inside your dashboard, there's ductwork that feeds the vents that blow in your face. They also feed the defroster that blows at your window, and they also feed the vents down at the floor. And there's a mode door in there. It's got an electric motor, and that's going to redirect the air just depending on where you decide to put it to. And that's not an uncommon thing that we see break on these late model cars, and some of them are easy to get to, and some of them you're pulling the whole dash out, and they're no fun to get to. So when we come back, we're taking your calls at 602-277-5827. You're listening to Matt and Dave, your KTAR car guys, on Bumper to Bumper Radio.
It sounds like they've just had the Accurate Automotive experience. We're family-owned and operated and have served the Mesa, Tempe, Gilbert communities for over 22 years. We focus on building long-lasting relationships and, oh yeah, listening to you so that we can understand, meet, and exceed your expectations. One location, 14 bays, 88 years of automotive expertise, and a passionate commitment to customer service and excellence. My name is Lee Weatherbee, and I approve this message because it's true. We love what we do, and we want to do it for you. Accurate Automotive, the home of friends serving friends.
Matt and I share car repair tips weekly to help you keep your car safely on the road, and a few of them are easy to do.
Yep, you're right, Dave. And one of the easiest is to have a dependable battery that you can trust to get you started no matter what the conditions.
Interstate batteries are what we trust at Bumper to Bumper Radio. In fact, they're what we use at our own shops for our customers.
If you're like most people, your car is one of your most valuable investments. Make sure you take care of that investment with the power necessary to get you where you need to be. Interstate batteries are America's #1 replacement brand with the factory fresh guarantee, and they're easy to find at good shops everywhere.
Cars or trucks, Interstate has you covered with long life and performance in our harsh desert climates with products like Megatron Plus. It carries a 30-month free replacement and a 6-year performance guarantee.
Interstate batteries. No battery lasts longer. Check them out at interstatebatteries.com.
Trust. It's hard to earn and sometimes even harder to find. If you live or work in downtown Phoenix, Matt Allen's Virginia Auto Service is celebrating over 20 years of award-winning service at the corner of 7th Street and Virginia. Recognized as one of the best service shops in the country, their customers have come to trust Virginia Auto Service for its A+ rating by the BBB, 2-year 24,000-mile warranties, and free transportation to and from your home or office. 20-plus years of earning your trust. Virginia Auto Service. They're serious about service.
Fix it or forget it. This is the show that'll help you decide what to do with your car. Bumper to Bumper Radio. KTAR News on 92.3 FM.
Well, Matt, we got a lot of phone calls. So I'm Dave. He's Matt. We got Leanne with us. Let's go to, looks like, Bob on a 2004 ABS wiring harness there. Matt, that's line 3. You told me you want to go quickly. And you can't even turn your microphone on.
No, I don't even have a microphone on. I'm watching the phones. I was, trying to get those other calls screened because we're going to blow through these 5 calls real fast. And
how can we help you, Bob? You're on Bumper to Bumper Radio.
Yes, I have a 2004 Kia Amante, flat tire, and it was, it was drove until the inner liner of the fender well was pulled, and then, of course, you yank the wiring harness. And, of course, I do know it goes to the ABS assembly and some other items also. Would it be advisable to get a new wiring harness for it, or butt flashing it would be all right?
Well, Bob, which side of the wiring harness tore? Because, what you're talking about is the wheel speed sensor, and it's probably got a 10-inch, maybe a 14-inch pigtail hanging off of it. Did that tear, or is it the car side of the wiring harness that ripped?
It is on it's up underneath the passenger side of the wire, up under the passenger front wheel well. It runs under the wheel well, and it runs to the ABS assembly itself.
Right. Oh, okay. It goes to the module itself. Well,
yeah.
Buying a wiring harness for a car is extremely expensive. That car, 2004, you may not even be able to find a wiring harness for that car brand new. And if they did have one at Kia, you may not want to afford it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just half the battle, getting the wiring harness, then replacing it depending on where it goes. I would probably take that to a shop that's proficient with fixing stuff like that. The problem is sometimes you just can't go put wires in there. A lot of those wires that go out to the various sensors and stuff are shielded. They've got braided wire around them, or they're twisted to prevent interference. So maybe an electrical shop or any shop that's competent to do the wiring.
Yeah, not necessarily. You see butt connectors on cars, and especially in an area where there's moisture, they've got to really be put together right, soldered with some shrink tubing, and clean them up real nice, especially ABS wires.
Yeah, you don't put a bunch of 30 butt connectors and put this big old wad of tape around it,
But it could be repaired properly.
Yep.
For sure. Thanks for the call, Bob. We're going to go with Dennis. He's got an 04 GMC heavy-duty pickup. How can we help you, Dennis? You're on Bumper to Bumper Radio.
I have an airbag fault light, and I can't figure out how to either fix it or turn the airbag off.
Well,
black tape works good if you just want to get the light to go out. But specifically,
the problem is what it does. It affects the odometer readout, everything on the dash. All the readouts. All it does is tell me airbag fault.
No, airbag fault's not going to do anything but turn on the airbag light. So tell us a little more. What else is on besides the airbag light? What's happening?
Well, nothing. Everything else works the way it's supposed to. It just doesn't display, for instance, my odometer and other functions.
In that little display area, it's just going to highlight the airbag and keep out the other stuff you want to know about.
Okay, I must be losing something because I've never seen an ABS light that makes your odometer not show.
It's the little. Matt was on that same plane from Japan, I think.
No, I think Dave and Dennis are in the same stash, maybe. I don't know.
I don't know what you mean by that,
but Dennis, I'm a little confused at the question. But the airbag light. The problem with an airbag, you feel, I guess you got a 50-50 shot if it's going to work or not. And maybe the passenger.
Well, here's what it is. It's the display on the dash there. There's a display that has a lot of different functions. It'll tell you the mileage. It'll tell you the current miles of the truck, plus the odometer, plus the gas mileage.
I know exactly what you're saying, Dennis. These two don't know what you're talking about. But as far as can I get it fixed, anytime the airbag, for anything, ABS, airbag, when there's a fault, there's an error message in the computer. And what we need to do is scan that module for the airbag and find out what the fault is. Sometimes the fault is a little switch in your seat or in the seat belt. Sometimes it's a sensor out further on the car that may have an issue. And so when that's happening, it's going to shut off a part of the airbag system. So if it was, let's just say it was a passenger seat switch, well, that passenger airbag is not going to go off if there's an accident. So it's taking your airbag out of play. So that's a safety feature that I think you want to have. So it's going to need to be scanned, and it's not, I don't think, sometimes you can go by these auto parts stores and they'll scan for you, but to get into the airbag module, it's not going to happen. You're going to need to get it to a shop where they can actually, when we scan these cars, we can dial up the different modules, and we're going to go to the airbag module and see what the fault is, and it's going to at least point us in a direction of what we think's got it going on. So it may say, hey, we got maybe a passenger seat switch or something like that. But there's all kinds of components that make that system work, and the computer's saying we have a problem with one of them.
And that's not for the do-it-yourselfer. If it doesn't need an airbag and you blow it off, it's number one, it's dangerous, and number two, it's expensive.
Yeah.
You think you're dealing with something light, go Google airbag explosions, and you'll be shocked at what you see. What's up next, Dave?
We're going to go with Pat on line 4. I bet you he's got a car problem. Hey, Pat, you're on Bumper to Bumper Radio. How can we help you?
Hi, thank you for taking my call. I have a 2013 Hyundai Santa Fe with 26,000 miles, and I've been getting a message that I need to have service on it, which I have always done in the past at the dealer. I'm just wondering, I believe I heard on your show some time ago that there are other ways of keeping the warranty intact without going to the dealer and going to a, reliable mechanic.
That's a great question, Pat, and I think that's something everybody can learn from. People are under the assumption that I got to go back to the dealer to stay within the realm of my warranty. There is plenty of independent shops that are completely capable of doing all the work that's needed to keep that car within the warranty. And there's an owner's manual, and it has some basic maintenance that needs to happen and to stay within that. But there's you definitely don't have to go back to the dealer. And I think that's the fear for people. They're like, well, if I have a problem, I don't want to be out of warranty because I went to this XYB shop. You know, if something's broken on the car and it's still under warranty and it's the factory warranty, you're going to have to go back to the dealership. If it's an extended warranty, a lot of these extended warranties, you can go really anywhere you want.
I always tell people, my customers that ask, you know, can I bring my car here? Do I have to take it to the dealer? And I always say the only reason your car never, ever needs to go back to the dealer is if the work is free.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because if it's not free, it's not under warranty, and they don't have to fix it. I mean, they don't have to be the ones. Like Dave said, all the shops are plenty capable. Any mechanic at Dave's shop, my shop, Lee's shop can go get a job at the Hyundai dealership tomorrow.
Yeah.
And there's also something we really want to get into it, the Magnuson-Moss Warranty Act of 1977 or whatever it is.
1977.
And they're going to sit there and tell you, oh, you have to use our filter. I'll tell you what, if you have to use their product, they have to provide it to you for free.
Yeah.
So that's how that works. So don't fall for that sales spiel while you're out there buying your new car.
Pat, the most important thing really is that you find someplace that you trust, you can build a relationship with, and that you actually enjoy going to, because it should be your choice where you get your automobile serviced.
Actually enjoy going to. That's a good point. Is there businesses you go to, you're like, man, I really wish I didn't have to come back here?
Well, you know, we talked about it. I've heard Lee say it. You said it, Dave. Fixing cars is almost secondary what we do.
Yeah.
We really are solving people's problems. We're getting you out of a jam a lot of times. We're there to help you. We're there to serve you. And that so happens that your car, the fix of your car is what makes you happy again. That's what we want to do.
Well, thanks for joining us. Thanks, Lee, for coming in.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Thanks, Bree, for running the dials. If you're looking for a great shop like Lee Weatherbee's at Accurate Automotive, you can find them at bumpertobumperradio.com. While you're there, be sure to donate for PCH.